to start by thanking John Beer, Trevor, Jim for inviting us to talk here today. This is quite an occasion. I'm normally used to a very small crowd, so bear with me as I find my feet. So, Sustainable Energy Research Consortium was set up and founded some 6 to 8 years ago with a demand and necessity for sustainable wood fuels in the market. My background is electrical engineering and renewables, and we saw a necessity at that point to sustainable biofuels and timbers in the market. We looked at the various timbers coming through in the poor quality, but also the long-term impact of harvesting biofuels from our local economy. The research that led me down that path to where we are today is, we have a very small plant in question in the background here. This is grown in Suffolk on our trial plantation and part of a 3-year run-up into obtaining the licensing for growing a sustainable, truly sustainable biofuel for the UK economy. This tree in question is a fast-growing hardwood that is an F1 hybrid, and which we've nurtured and cultured on a 2-hectare site. And it is the fastest growing hardwood in the world, and it also captures an enormous amount of CO2 and oxygen output. I think the one thing from the circular economy approach which we're going to discuss today is the sheer volume and scale of the problem across the counties that we're faced with. This is agricultural, this is resource recovery, this is sustainable food and food security and energy markets as a whole. These are areas that we are in deep discussion with and part and make up of our genetic circular economy approach. What I must stress and add to that is this isn't just a societal and a national strategy. This is a global issue that we're faced with. The circular economy is hugely important to our economic dependency. The principle and aspect of our solution as S.E.R.C group and our structuring is resource recovery, energy security, sustainable farming, and food security as part of our circular practices and circular economy at the core. The sequence of these activities and events as a binding circular economy and the research that we've collated over the last 8 years as a whole, combining and integrating these aspects and fully integrating them into our modelling as a keystone effect. And this is an evolving market, as we well know, with different technologies at our abundance. We have vertical farming, we have decentralized energy networks providing resilience. We have sustainable biofuels and timbers that we are in so desperate need of at a county and a national level. And obviously from that resource, we build in a high value chain when we're in control of these elements across the sectors. In question, our biofuel and our strategies and actually planting up the specific new hybrid variant in the last 2 years has provided us with a natural high value chain across the sector, one which provides a calorific value above 23% as opposed to mixed forestry products. And the product in question air dries between 30 and 60 days, so less transportation costs and less energy in transposing that into a usable wood fuel. The challenge that we're faced with on a global scale, and it bounces back down to an economic national scale. These are environmental challenges, societal. When we place these effects and use our IoT analytics data platform and powering process, Power BI, and cloud services in order to capture all of the respective markets, using our analytics on legacy data and drilling down into the effects and economic value with these challenges is what sets us apart as an organisation. You'll see some familiar faces around today as part of our network and our group. At the core of S.E.R.C group, there are a number of companies underneath and outside of our S.E.R.C group level. We have, I believe, in excess of about 240 NDAs out with different companies at the moment. And we have a partnering and sustainable chain of network partners and supply chains. Outside of that is then a larger stakeholder engagement from councils, Environment Agency, and a number of different boards across the complete network as a complete stakeholder engagement. The change here, as we've modelled, and at the core of S.E.R.C, is the transitional change from a linear market to a completely sustainable and circular economy. From the agri perspective, we are looking quite disastrously at 50, 60, 100. There is all sorts of research that we've expressed. The depletion of soils across Europe and the wider spectrum is devastating on how many crops we can actually facilitate in the natural environment over the next percentage of years. Our biofuel crop, timber crop in question, is a soil remediator. We've researched a number of different crop lines and species as soil remediators, and none of them come up to par with the model that we've processed. So in doing so, creating sustainable platform biofuel, we're actually able to remediate agri-land, private land, and also contaminated land as well. This, as we know, is a global impact for timber and for biofuel across the networks. Our timber in question is also twice the strength of pine, but half the weight of oak for transport costs. If we push to a 2 Celsius marker instead of 1.5, what truly is the impact across the network of which we're modelling to date, and the environmental impact that that poses on not just the agri sector, but into the circular and city aspects as a whole, is something that we're modelling at present. Again, a call back to a global demand, and monitoring and analytics is what sets our company in motion and able to define those metrics across the sector. So I would ask a very prominent question: if we don't stand for something today, what will stand in the future? And how are we able to make a difference in those economics today, and where do each of us fit in that circular economy and aspect?